They said it was impossible. They said,
you can't put together the most elite team of comic book reviewers on the planet and do, a podcast or something like that?
Despite all that, today we can proudly announce. Yeah, they were right. We couldn't do it. So instead, we brought you the most vile, ignorant, unprofessional group of comic book enthusiasts we could find. This is Panel to Panel, the Game Rage Magazine comic podcast.
How lovely it is to be back on a new episode of Panel to Panel, the Game Rage comic book podcast. I'm Josh, here today with good buddy Adam.
Yes, hello.
And if you like listening to us talk about podcasts, you could listen to us talk about other topics. Oh, fuck, why did I say if you like hearing us talk about comic books, you can listen to us on our other podcasts. You can find all those at GameRageMagazine.com. And wherever podcasts are sold. If you want to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. We're also on YouTube at Game Rage Magazine. Adam's at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram. Go check out his podcast, All Gas No Trash, conveniently located on the Game Rage Podcast Network. Anyways, but this is Panel to Panel, and today we're going to be discussing the Immortal Hulk, now you got me saying sulk. The Immortal Hulk number 4. If I can fucking find the goddamn... There it is. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Anyways.
That was your fault.
This is my fault. I should have had this queued up beforehand. But anyways, while we're waiting for that, what... do you still think that Daredevil is the better comic as of right now? Of the two? Just
yes.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm just trying. I do think that the Daredevil comic is
until
better.
Proven otherwise.
Right. This one now has my fucking attention though, because I was waiting for something to happen that wasn't a bad guy of the week thing, and I think this is now maybe the beginnings of that, or we're at least being exposed to the, what do you call it? The maybe overarching enemy, which is this like green door fucking dimension or whatever the fuck this is. How the fuck is this taking so long to load? This is my... Fuck?
It's all on.
Yeah, I know. It's strange. Let me go back to the internet. You are not connected to the internet. Okay, reload it.
Do something. Show me what you got.
Come on, fucking internet. Oh my God. What the? Oh, there it goes. But why is it? Man, I wonder if we're getting cyber attacked right now. Or it's more likely that my internet's just being shitty because it's been the problem. But my phone's doing it too.
What?
All right, hold on. Let me just pause this real quick.
What the hell?
Real quick. Okay, we're back. We figured it out. Jesus Christ on a cracker. That was fucking annoying. All right, here we go. Full screen. To a nice
Alex Ross cover with Hulk grabbing the undercarriage of two cars and smashing it. This is calling card at this point.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. Oh man, they don't have an all pages fucking option?
You have to scroll down or... Oh, yeah. I don't think they have a... Yeah, all unfortunately.
Right. Well, that sucks. Opening line as always is, one always dies too soon or too late. Jean-Paul Sartre. I don't know how to say that.
I don't know.
No exit.
Don't even know what that's from.
I think that's a movie. So basically we go. This issue starts out with the lady, right?
Jackie.
The reporter from Arizona.
Arizona Herald or whatever.
Yeah, and she's obviously still looking for Hulk, and she's going to meet up with what's his face, the Canadian version of the Hulk,
Walter Lankowski.
Yeah, that's his name. Or better known as
the Sasquatch.
What a fucking great name, man.
Fucking Yeti.
What a great fucking superhero. Oh yeah, man, I'm the Squatch, baby. And he does roll up looking like a fucking
the mutton chops, dude.
Yeah, man, those are pretty sick.
Yeah, so he basically had a conversation with her in the previous issue, letting her know that, oh man, Bruce Banner's alive. Good buddy Bruce Banner.
Oh man, I need to talk to this motherfucker.
Yeah, so according to Walter Lankowski, who is also part of Alpha Flight, like the Canadian equivalent of
the Avengers,
something like that.
They're like a B team version of that, right?
This is straight crap, dude.
Alpha Flight, man, that sounds like a fucking jobber stable in wrestling. Alpha Flight. Good buddy Walter Lankowski drops the lore on us, as Walter Lankowski was basically a Giga Chad maxing at fucking Penn State. Yeah.
And not only was he fucking good looking and a football player for Penn State itself, he was also a Giga Chad of the mind. Not quite the cerebral assassin that is Bruce Banner, but enough so that he's a dabbler, as he would phrase it, that he would partake in anything that was of intellectual interest to him, and basically spilling the beans on like what Bruce Banner was like. And Bruce Banner didn't really care for Walter all too much because of the fact that Walter was good looking and basically had everything a person would need to basically succeed in life and get ahead. He only had one of those things, which is Bruce Banner is a fucking intellectual.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck off. You can't have both.
True. You get the fucking football field, man. The talents of the mind belong to me, you son of a bitch.
Science is fucking mine. So Walter Lankowski has interest in the gamma experiments that Bruce Banner was partaking in. And they even mention Thunderbolt Ross briefly, and how the Hulk has become an enemy to the United States at one point.
And then basically he goes on to talk about how he got interested in all this shit and wanted to basically make an alternate version of the Hulk that would not be crazy, that like he could control or whatever.
To the best of his ability.
Yeah, so he does it. Man, this panel is cool as fuck when he's getting the gamma radiation on him, and it's just his bones, and he's like fucking all green and shit.
Evaporating.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. And then basically that's when he obviously becomes the Sasquatch. And
as a deterrence to the Hulk if he ever came up north.
Yeah, which, I mean, honestly, I mean, obviously they don't know that the Hulk is essentially unkillable or whatever for sure, because they don't fucking know that for sure. But I mean, he really is fucking completely immortal. Like, there's no,
he's been impaled, as far as we know, with the ray gun guy, the hot shot fucker.
I mean, crazy. So then this is what we find out a little bit about the reporter's backstory, that basically the Hulk, you know, came through and fucking blew up her town, and she tells, like, her dad's telling her, don't look him in the eye, and then the Hulk just stares right at her, seemingly inferring that she looked him dead in the eye.
Right, and I think Walter makes well, I'll just read it verbatim. Yeah, that look in the eye, that look in your eye, I do get it. That's why I did it. Referring to why he ended up becoming a gamma radiated monster. Jackie has this same fascination with the Hulk, so, but hers is journalistic endeavors.
Yeah, and so he's up in the Arctic Circle or whatever, trying to maintain control of, you know, whatever this fucking thing is that he's turned into, the Sasquatch. And he's like, we did this testing up there just in case, like, I started going crazy. Like, at least it's far enough away from fucking humanity to where they'll have a heads up. And this is when he's talking about the green door. He now saw this green door,
which is something that has been consistent with some of the previous issues, that people that dabbled with the gamma radiation have all have seen this green door that opens up when gamma radiation is in play.
Yeah, he describes it as it's a door between this world and a darker one, a world of beasts and demons, which is pretty fucking cool, man. Like that's sweet. And so that's when he talks about Tanarak, which is this old northern beast, I guess, or whatever that fucking got into him.
Some kind of demon.
Yeah, some kind of fuck. Yeah, so now he basically just says, like, nah, like, he's dead, man. Like, I got this. I'm in control. And then that's when they roll up on the scene with the Hulk, well, the post-Hulk destruction fucking scene, which is, I'm assuming this is the aftermath of the cover. And because we have the same, like, half taken out kind of bridge thing with the train or whatever here. And, yeah, it's just carnage, man. These cars are just smashed together.
I know this was something that was mentioned earlier in the previous pages, but Jackie is adamant about covering the Hulk story because it seems like, well, they mentioned the Bugle in New York, which is like Spider-Man's newspaper in New York, and then the Washington Post and all these publications have been starting to catch on to the Hulk story, and she's like, dude, this is fucking mine. And if you want it to be the thing that the Arizona Herald gets on top of and is like at the forefront of, like, we got to keep pressing with this shit.
Yeah, we got to find this motherfucker, basically. And so they go to the bars and they're doing the same thing, asking questions and stuff. And so there's these two assholes that are fucking having some kind of argument on the side. And they're trying to get info from the bartender. And these guys fucking keep, escalating their posture until then, of course, Captain Save-A-Ho fucking Sasquatch buddy has to get involved and say, oh, come on, relax, guy. Like, everything's okay. Come on there, buddy. Everything will be fine. You want some maple syrup, guy? One of those type of deals. And, of course, one of the assholes fucking pulls out a knife and fucking straight stabs him right in the fucking back, right in the shoulder blades. Stabs him. And, I mean, he kills him, man. He fucking kills him.
Straight murders him.
No fucking reason. And then she's just like, oh, fuck, we got to get an ambulance. So he gets sent over to the old hospital there. And they're like, oh, this guy's going to die. He's lost all his blood. He's toast. And so she's like, oh, man, what's this guy's name? And then she tells him, oh, yeah, it's Walter. Like, yeah. She's like, oh, that sounds real familiar, this fucking guy. And she's like, yeah, he's a superhero. And the receptionist or whatever who's like checking him, she's like, oh, yeah, the big orange guy. Yeah. And so they're like, oh, man, here we go. Let's get all this blood. It shows the doctors and stuff. And basically the detectives come to talk to her ass, and she's just like, yeah, whatever, fucking, yeah, I'll let you know if I see Bruce Banner. Fuck yeah.
Suck my
idiots.
ass.
Yeah, go fuck yourselves. And then, of course, Bruce Banner comes and sits his ass right next to her after the pigs leave. And she's just, like, oh, what the fuck? And here he is. He's like, yo, what happened to this dude?
What happened to my Giga Chad friend?
My orange Giga Chad friend. And she basically just tells him, like, oh, he got stabbed and stuff. And he's like, well, I'm following this hunch that I have. Like, he basically tells her that everybody emits a radiation signature that's, like, unique to them or whatever, I guess, right?
Yeah, and there's also humans that have it as well. But for them, there's a signature, a gamma irradiated signature that they leave behind.
It's very unique. And he's like, oh, the Hulk can sense this, basically. And so we go back to the doctors, and yeah, they're fucking like, he's dead. They're like, oh yeah, this guy's fucking, he's gonna die. Come on, let's try to save him. And he wants to know what Langowski's prognosis was, and she's like, not good, man. Like, this dude was...
The motherfucker was stabbed.
He got stabbed in the fucking back of the shoulder, and now he's gonna die. Like, fuck, man, that sucks. And then he says, well, basically, he tells them, like, yeah, he wanted to turn himself into a second Hulk. And his gamma signature is just like mine, right? And here he goes. Oh, all the doctors are like, well, we tried. He's dead. Too bad. And obviously the fucking Sasquatch or whatever is not going to let him die because it's, not immortal like Hulk, but it's like whatever fucking, it's like Hulk. So
Yeah.
he dies, fucking.
Notice it also happens at nighttime as well, much like the Hulk.
True, yeah. And so he says, the sun's going down. It's the night and it's his time. And that's when the doctors are like, oh my God, what the fuck is this thing? And he just fucking starts lighting them up, man. Well,
that last page, man, where it's like, my God, God above, God above?
Yeah, he says God above ? And then they're all like screaming and shit. And then he says, quite the fucking reverse, bitch. Oh, man.
The one below.
Time of death. End of the issue. Oh, man. This one was pretty good. I like how it left on that. This is like I don't know if this is going to continue, but this like tone shifted for me from these first like 3 issues that were kind of just whatever. Now it's like, oh, this is a story that's continuing to the next issue. There's cool. Like,
well, technically the other issues were, but there was more breadcrumbs than it was hitting it face first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like the breadcrumbs or the bad guy, the I don't know, the bad guy, whatever you want to call it. Those guys died in like those episodes. He handled that in those
Monster
issues.
of the Week, yeah.
Yeah, Monster of the Week. Now this is like, oh shit. Now we're continuing something. This is a cliffhanger for the next week, essentially. So, or the next issue, I should say. So that was kind of fucking cool. Shit. Anyway, well, that was the end of the issue.
Yeah, further teetering to the edge of the supernatural with this green door shit.
Yeah.
What happens beyond that? Who the fuck knows?
Who the fuck knows? But I will say this green door thing very much has me like enthralled with this. That's what's keeping this going is this green door thing and needing to know what is beyond that. Mm-hmm. Which I hope eventually, they get to.
Yeah, it's contrasting Daredevil here. It's more of a slower burn. Yeah. But man, it's like the story itself is like the principle, and then every issue is like gonna compound a fucking interest. Every episode pays dividends, man. Every issue pays dividends, and it's been a while since I read this, so it's mostly new to me. So I'm kind of where you're at right now.
Yeah. I got you. Well, fuck it. This was a short one. Good enough. We did the objective. We talked about the Hulk. So
yeah.
This issue was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's gotten me going now. I'm like, okay, cool. Like this was when you watch anime and you got to give it like 4 episodes before you say, all right, this is fucking stupid. This is like you got to give the comic like 5 issues, and then it's like, okay, cool. It took 3 issues. Now issue 4. Here we go. Now I'm really invested in this, or starting to get invested, I guess.
Yeah, I think it only gets fucking stranger from here and weirder, and that's all I could say about it, because...
Yeah. No spoilers.
No spoilers, obviously, yeah, but it just gets fucking weirder from here.
Awesome. Anyways, all right, well, fuck. That'll be the end of this episode, I suppose. So if you want to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, go to @GameRageMagazine. We're on YouTube also @GameRageMagazine. Twitter/X @GameRageMag. You can go to GameRageMagazine.com. Follow Adam @AllGasNoTrashOfficial.
Oh, I do want to add that this is one thing that turns me off from comics sometimes is when you have something going with a writer and artist, and when you're not consistent with it, it completely throws everything off. I swear to God, if that happens in fucking Daredevil...
Oh, man, I'm going to be so pissed.
I can't deal with fucking ugly art. You can't judge a book by its cover when it comes to comics, dude.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, that's half the medium is visual, you know? So if you draw shit, then it's... Fuck.
So I'm glad that fucking the Hulk decided to get back on track with Joe Burnett or Joe Bennett doing the art. So
Yeah, indeed. This is a
Big
good,
ups.
good move.
Big ups.
Big ups to the homies at Marvel. Anyways, all right. Well, that's it. We'll catch you on the next one.
That was Panel to Panel, the Game Rage Magazine comic book podcast. Thanks for listening. If you want to know more and follow along, go to Instagram and TikTok. Follow at Game Rage Magazine. If you want to follow on Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. Tune in next time.